Hello everyone and welcome back. I am utterly obsessed with Pokopia at the minute and I'm slowly starting to decorate in the game, and I was thinking what better way to get used to some of the mechanics than building some small but functional little shops or stalls. So today I've got 3 different ones to show you. All of these are, I would say, quite beginner friendly. You may just need to swap out some of the blocks to make them suit your aesthetics and what you have based on your stage at the game. Don't forget to like and also subscribe, but let's get into this. So this one is the first one, and this one is pretty blocky, but I'm going to show you some ways that you can add the details in as well, just to enhance it a little bit. But this one, very functional, very cute, and you could do a whole row of these, and this is how I made it. So importantly, the size that I've gone for is 4x5. You can adjust this however you like, but I just thought this was a nice, good kind of starter style. You could also make this into a home if you wanted to. And then because this is going to be a trading section, I'm going in with the counters. You will obviously need a cash register as well that is powered for this to work. And then for the blocks, these are the plaster blocks, and I'm going to go for quite a neutral color scheme here. So we're thinking creams and woods because this is kind of like a basic level. We want to think, we don't want too much paint here, but I do go into that in some of the other ones. But for now, I'm just going for really basic blocks, really basic structure just to get you started. And then because you've put the wooden enclosure down in that middle, you can then put another block on top. And then these are the tent kind of roofs. Not something that I normally use, but I wanted to do something different because I've used the awnings in some of the other builds, so I didn't want to be using them all the time. This is a brown color. I know I said I won't be using too much paint, but I just wanted like a little bit just to make it more cohesive. And then just with your plaster walls, all you want to do is build around. It's really simple. You're just kind of building all the way around the pattern, placing them down. I would also recommend that you leave a spot for a door so that you, or perhaps the Pokemon, not person, is able to access it at whenever they want to. And it just makes it a bit easier than trying to kind of fit your way through the front. I think it's probably possible, but I just think it's a little bit easier to do it this way. Again, you can use whatever brick walls you want or any other kind of walls. You could even change it up and have like different kind of colors. It's really nice sometimes to have a different color on the bottom and then have kind of 2 high of another block, or even 3 high, depending on how high you want your kind of build to be. From there, I then jumped up to a high point and flew over onto the roof. I don't have any fancy decorating kind of skills at this point. However, I know they do come. So I decided to fly down so I could access the roof. You could alternatively use ladders to climb your way up if you don't have the flying ability unlocked as of yet. And then from here, I just put in some bridge walkways just to be kind of a base layer for what I want to put on the roof. And then I kind of went around with just the wooden fencing just to kind of enclose this area. Now, if you wanted to, you could just go kind of wood all the way around and then just leave it as that. But I wanted to add a little bit of greenery, and I was kind of umming and ahhing as to whether to kind of use these just the normal grass or use the hedge ones. I think the grass would have looked nice. However, I just liked the way that the hedges looked a little bit more, the way that they just poke over the fence just a tad more. A little bit of a hodgepodge didn't quite work for such a small area, so I just went in with all of the hedges. And yes, these are some of my favorite items. I had to go and copy a whole bunch of them just so that I could have more. Was it worth spending the Pokemetal on? 100%. And so here I am just putting the fencing all the way around just so it's kind of nice and clear. If you wanted to, another thing you could do with this space, I think that would be quite nice if you are using a flat roof, maybe turn it into somewhere that you could sit, just a nice little kind of relaxing area. And then obviously that's done. I added a few bits of furniture on the inside just because I wanted to fill it out a bit, just give it some personality, a little bit of a pizzazz. I mean, I'm not sure crates and cardboard boxes are quite the pizzazz that most people try try and add when they're making nice builds, but it's very functional, and I think it fits with the whole kind of theme of the build and it being like a shop. Obviously you could adjust this to whatever you want. Sandbags, whatnot, crates, they all work really well. And then on the front, this is where I wanted to add some more details. So for me, when I'm decorating, I like to add those smaller things, and I'm getting used to what kind of smaller things there are in the game. So the bunting is really nice, that little vine decoration is really nice, and then I just added in some more of like the crates, the more kind of functional pieces around the outside, and then it was done. So there is number one, really nice simple one. The next one is going to be a bit more of a traditional stool, and I really like the way this looks. Again, you can definitely adapt it to however you want. So for this one, I'm starting off with a 5x5 area this time. It's just slightly bigger, but the front half of this, or like the front couple of lines, are kind of really just to help the area kind of merge together. And then I'm going in with these stone bricks. You need 6 of these for now, and then you're just going to put them on either side. This kind of gives you an idea as to where like the front portion of this build is going to be and how it kind of flows, so you can see that. And then you're going to need some wooden fencing. I've stacked mine 3 high on each center square. This is going to form the kind of raiser for our roof, so these are really important. And then I've got the roof flat tiles. There are a few variations of this in the game, so you can pick whichever one works best for you, and this is going to be our main thing running through. As you can see, you can do this quite simply by jumping up on the middle kind of sides. However, for the kind of center one, it was a little bit more difficult. So what I had to do was place down a block. Actually, I placed down 2 blocks because this part was a little bit difficult and a little bit finicky. In hindsight, perhaps the best way probably would have been to kind of fly over here and not have to worry about it, because this wasn't really working. Even when I tried to jump up, it just wasn't happening. So the moral of the story is, don't be like me, think smartly about how you are placing your blocks just to make it a little bit easier on yourself. Likewise, I couldn't put these awnings directly onto the roof, so I had to actually put a block down, and that kind of acted as a starter block. Oh look, we're getting photobombed by the legendary Pokemon. How wonderful. And then you can kind of remove these blocks. You can remove the center block, and you can remove that block and switch it out for the wooden post again later. So then we want to go in with our counters. I've decided to go for the wooden ones again because quite frankly I really like them, but I have left a gap for easy access, so you can kind of come in, have a way in. And I don't know if honestly this would affect the Pokemon, so perhaps just having it there just in case. And then I decided to jazz things up a bit. I think this whole section, I'm just giving you kind of an idea as to how I'm going with this area, but for this whole section I'm wanting it to be more kind of elegant, put together, organized. So that's why I'm kind of thinking about what things kind of really in the game speak to me from that kind of aesthetic. These lampposts definitely do, but I do kind of switch around some things later. So this is just really a starter. The hedge as well is a really nice one. I photocopied so many of them. I think I said that in the last one, but they are such a good item. And then over here is where we are going to put our cash register as well. And then I just added in a few more decorative pieces like the menu board and also the sign. Just again, I think these are going to be real kind of staples for me for adding details into cute little areas. And then because I wasn't really feeling the black, I did decide to use some white paint. I really kind of splashed out here, and I also did the counters as well, just to make it like a little bit more cohesive. I really liked the way that they looked with the kind of bricks as well. I just thought they looked a bit better there. And then I also splashed out and turned these roof tiles white, which actually they don't look very white to me. They look definitely more grey. So I was a little bit sad about that and wanted to add some colour. And then I found that I could actually place these kind of flower boxes. However, I thought, oh, this is going to look great. However, when I kind of rotated the camera down, they were like floating in midair. So at this point, I decided we're going to move some of these blocks here so that we can get some blocks. So they actually look like they're attached to something and make it more of a roof. If you wanted to, you could 100% just leave it like a flat roof, but I just wanted the dimensions. So I added in the little kind of flower blocks onto the blocks that I had actually used on the sides. And for me, it just added something a bit more spring, a bit more vibrant, and obviously more flowers. And then I added in the roof tiles over the top to kind of bring it back together a little bit. And then for the awnings, I wish I had kind of taken these to Smear Guru and asked him to do the pink and the white together. So instead of just doing the all pink, but it is what it is. I might live to regret that, but for now we have some very pink awnings, and I just added in some more finishing touches. And as I was kind of deciding what to do, I decided to add these end roof bits as well. So that is how this one looks. I have added a bit more to it after the fact, and I've added some more decorative pieces. Let me know what you think about this one, but here is a very different shop idea for you for number 3. So I did start off with some pillars. I think I got these pillars for upgrading my environment area, and I love them. They are marble and beautiful, and I have the recipe now so I can craft lots of them. And I think they're going to be really great for just having at the side of buildings and kind of having them on an angle or kind of supporting. I think they're going to add great depth to the builds. And then for the blocks, as you can see, I've gone for the kind of mosaic-y tile blue piece. I really love them, and I'm gonna just combine that with a white wall. I think this is the white cloth wall. I'm not gonna lie, I stole a lot of these from the ship in the Bleak Beach area. So if you're wondering how I got lots of that, I'm not sure if I've managed to unlock the recipe for it as of yet. I hopefully, if not, I will soon. And then I'm just gonna dig out the area. You can do this as big or as far as you want. And then I was a bit confused because I was like, this carpet isn't quite joining together, but eventually it does. This is another thing that I stole from that ship area. It's a gorgeous carpet. I think I do have the recipe for this one now. I love that you can kind of adjust it depending on what size you want. So if you wanted like different blocks around the edge, you could have that and kind of mix it in. But beautiful color, and it's really nice to see that we get this kind of mixture of blocks. I haven't played Minecraft in a very long time, so maybe they have added more of these types of blocks, like actual for interiors, but they kind of missed out on those when I was playing, which was a very long time ago. So please don't hold that against me. I don't want rage comments being like, oh, there's loads of blocks in Minecraft like that now, but there wasn't when I was playing. So it's nice to have that. I did also add in the windows at the back here just as like a little bit of extra feature. Totally optional, as with all of the color scheme that I've gone for here, is I decided to paint the walls. I just really like the way that everything is cohesive. I really like my builds to feel like they belong together. So having an all blue or white color palette really makes me feel very happy. So that is what I've gone for here. As I say, you can adjust it to however you want. There's so many different colors in the game. There's so many different bushes. There's so many different kind of paint colors. You can really go to town with it. We don't quite have like the level of customization that we do with Animal Crossing and sort of like the custom designs, but I think it's pretty good for what we do have. So if you wanted to do like a pink area, you definitely could do that. I added the curtains. At first I was a little bit disappointed because they have the poles and then they just kind of cut off and there's not like a pole kind of option, but later on there is, we close the curtains and it helps a lot. That was me deciding what fence to go for. In the end, I did put it out for a vote on stream, and in the end we did go for this one. The fencing options in the game are really nice and really varied as well. One of my favorite things is this awning, as I've said probably a million times already in this video, and I love it in the blue and white. So we've got to have that in here as well. I did try a few different two different roof combinations. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of, there's a really nice blue roof. I didn't have a lot of it available. However, I did have this in my recipes, so I decided to go for this. I ummed and ahed about whether the color was like maybe a little bit too dark. However, I think in hindsight, it's quite nice to have the contrast in the colors. It's still got that navy kind of blue color tone to it, so I think it's fine. It's almost black, but it's not quite, so I think that's okay. Also, this roof has some really nice details on it, which is great. If you don't want to just look at like a flat roof, obviously you could just do it as a flat roof if you wanted to, but you could use these like round things, which are great. I decided to add a little bit of detail on the inside. So we've got these shell lamps here, and as you can see, the curtains were there pulled, so you can't really see that pole, which is great. For the outside, I decided to add in some little stone tiles. I'm not going to decorate fully on the outside, but as you can see, this could be a nice little lead out onto a road area. If you wanted to, you could elevate the shop and then have like steps down into the area, or steps up, depending on what you want to do. And then what would a build be without some plants? So we've got a little plant in here, and for the trading to take place, we obviously need a cash register. So the cash register is here as well. So we're almost set, and then I'm just going to change out these plants here because I decided that I'm going to use the street lamps that are in the Skyland area. So these are really nice. Absolutely great addition. A little bit sad you can't actually color them, but hey, they are good enough for me, and I think it worked nicely. So here is what it looked like. As you can see, it looks a little bit better with some adjustments to the bushes and stuff. I also added in a bench, but I hope you like this one as well. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you want more videos like this, please let me know in the comments what sort of things you want to see, kind of build inspo ideas, because I love doing these little builds. They're so much fun, and I'm obviously enjoying Pokopia. Have a great rest of your day. Happy playing. Bye bye.